I'm really excited to share my message today. So first of all, let me just explain to you where I was before the FranklinCovey training. Basically, and I said this at the training because we had to stand up and explain why we were there, and I raised my hand and I said, I'm Mindy Wender and I'm a hot mess. That's how my life was going at the time. I just felt like I was overwhelmed. I was doing so much work and things weren't scheduled and my priorities were out of line, all those things. So I was in desperate need of this. And when I heard that Trina Gray had went to this training and she highly recommended it, I was like, I have to go. So before I went to this training, I wasn't scheduled. I wasn't consistent with my to-do list. I was just all over the place. And I don't feel like it's like a flaw, but maybe you guys can relate to this. As coaches, we flippin' love what we do. So it's hard to pull ourselves away from it. So sometimes when we hear our phone ring or text message or Facebook, we are jumping to answer those things because we're so passionate about what we do, right? I'm sure you guys can relate to that. So today I'm going to share with you my biggest takeaways from the FranklinCovey training. Number one is ruling your technology. And coming from a social media nerd who has grown her entire business on social media, this was very hard for me to handle. So that's why it's number one for me. I really had to work on this. I have so many things going on social media and technology that I needed this. So at the FranklinCovey training, we learned how to handle this. And so we learned that I could use technology to help me become more scheduled, organized, and on track. So now I use iCalendar and my reminder app that syncs with all of my devices, my iPad, my iPhone, and my computer. So I can sit down, make my to-do list, write out my goals, and figure out how to schedule my week. My iCalendar is like specifically scheduled for family time, business hours, everything. So I know where I can place what tasks that I have for that week. So that was number one, is just owning my own technology instead of having technology own me. Number two of my biggest takeaways was finding out my 6 rules. So I had to sit down and I was just all over the place, spreading myself way too thin, as most of you probably can relate, as you have so many things going on. And I sat down and figured out what my priorities are, what was most important to me, and what I enjoyed to do. And I wrote down those 6 things that are most important to me. And so now I know these are my roles. This is how I'm going to schedule my day, create my goals, and all of those things to what means the most to me and will make me happy. And lastly, number 3 was about fueling your fire. So I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I thought it was like normal, and what successful people did is where you find yourself laying in your bed, computer on your lap, working, notebook here, all this stuff, and then you fall asleep like this at 2 in the morning. Not true. Not what successful people do. I can understand if you have to do that once in a while when you're trying to hit a big goal. I've done it. I've been there. But since going to that training, I've learned that getting enough sleep, having you time, relaxing time, having time to connect with other people, and eating healthy and exercising, 2 things that you guys already have mastered. Yes, when I heard that, I was like, nailed it. So I had 2 things already, but I was lacking on the other things. So now, since that training, I go to bed at 10:30 at night, and I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and I get my workout done, and then my day just goes so much smoother, and I get so much more accomplished. I wish I could say more, but I'm not able to. But the last thing that I want to say to you is that if you're looking to be a better coach, a more successful coach, but you still want to stay true to your other priorities, like your family or whatever else is important to you, that was seriously something that has completely changed since coming back from that training. So I highly recommend, if you're looking to be more successful and to get more out of 2014, to attend a FranklinCovey training.